In today's Python for Beginners tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at how we can actually create a Python file and run that as a Python application. So we're going to be using the similar stuff that we did in the last tutorial with the if statement, but we're actually going to create a file and we're going to run that like a Python application. So let's dive straight back into the terminal here. This is basically where we left off last time. So we have the foo is equal to false and then a simple if else statement. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy all of that into the clipboard here. And I'm going to come straight out of this interactive shell. So press Control C to come out of all of that stuff. What we're going to do is discover where Python lives as a binary on this Ubuntu system that I have here. An easy way to do this is just type where is and then a space and then put in Python 3 like so. And we're going to have a whole bunch of bits and pieces about where Python 3 lives. Here we've got user bin Python 3, that's pretty good. We also have user lib, we've got other bits and pieces as well. We've also got it in etc. This is probably where we're going to be focusing, the user bin. Now we need to create the Python file that will hold our application. So I don't know yet if there is vim on here. There isn't. Maybe there is nano. Let's just double check. No, there isn't, so bear with me a minute. Let's just do an apt-get install of vim just to install an editor for me. So here we go. I should have checked that that was in before, beg your pardon. Put in some clear just to get some room. So now we can type vi, or if you're using nano, use nano, or even if it is just a basic text editor, then use that too. But for me, I'm going to put in vi, put in the name of the file. And what I like doing, you don't have to do it, but what I like doing is having the extension of .py because that denotes that you are using a Python file. So let's just type in foobar like that because that is the name of a file, and then the extension of p and then y. Okay, so we're in vi or vim, and what I'm going to do is just go straight into the interactive mode. So what I've just done is I've pasted the stuff that we were doing in the last tutorial into this file. Now what I've done is I've added a new line to the top of this file, and that will be used to interpret how the operating system should run this file. So we're going to add the path to the Python binary that we found from the where is command that we had last time. What we need to start this file off with is a hash and then a bang and then the path of that executable file. So put in a hash symbol like so, and then a bang, which is an exclamation mark. The next thing I'm going to do is just simply paste in the path to the Python 3 binary that we have here, which in my case is on user bin path, but like I mentioned before, this could be a completely different path to what you're using. Now this has to be the very first line of the file because this is telling the operating system when it runs this file that it should be ran by Python 3. After you've added the path to the Python 3 binary, you need to add a new line between that path and the actual application itself. So just press enter here. Now this will be translated slightly differently depending on what type of operating system you're using. So if you're using a Windows operating system, you need to ensure that perhaps it needs to have \r\n, whereas if you're on a Unix style operating system like this, which is Ubuntu, then you just have to have \n. Don't worry about that too much. Just having a new line like this, normally you're fine. But if you aren't fine, if you have a problem with this file running, usually it means that this part of the application hasn't been set up correctly. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to come out of this editor and we're going to have to set the permissions of this file to allow it to actually be executed. So what we've done here is we've defined how it's going to be executed. Now we have to make it executable. So let's come out of here. I'm just going to write and quit this file like so, and we've got foobar.py. If I was just to type in ls, we should have that here with everything else. So we need to make that executable. And if you have seen my Linux Bash for Beginners course, then you'll know that we need to change the mask of that file to allow us, the user, to have executable rights. So we do this by doing a chmod, because this will modify the file's permissions, and we need to have a +x because we are giving executable rights to the current user of this system. Now let's put in the path of the file, so we can just put in foobar.py, press enter. You won't get any output here, but you've made that executable. Next, what we can do is actually run the file. So put in a period and a slash and then the name of the file, which is just foobar.py. Press enter and we have foobar is false, which of course is the output of our application, because we're falling back into the else part of that if condition. So let's go back into that file and change that up again. So let's do a vi again of foobar, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just change that from false to be true, like so. And then I'm just going to come out of this and write and quit. That's fine. Run the file again, and this time foobar is true, because now we're in the top half of the if condition. Because foobar is true, we're no longer in the else block of the if condition. That is true, and therefore that is running. I'm just going to bring the file up again just to show you what has happened. So beforehand, foobar was set to false, and therefore we're in here. But now it's set to true, which means that this condition is now correct, which means we're here. So this is being printed out to the screen. So that was the first scripting example in this Python for Beginners course. We're going to be looking more into scripting later on in these tutorials, and we're going to be using different tools and things as well too. But if you've got any comments, questions or queries on this tutorial or any tutorials that I have done, or if you've got suggestions for future tutorials, then let me know. Put them down in the comments section below. I do read all of your comments. I do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe, because not only do we do tutorials, but we also do discussions about software development. Thanks ever so much for watching. Happy coding, everyone. I'll see you again soon. Cheers. Bye.